University of Tanzania, quality education for all. The Open University of Tanzania, quality education for all. The Open University of Tanzania, quality education for all. The Open.
Good morning, everybody. I am Professor Bisanda, the Vice Chancellor of the Open University of Tanzania. I'm here to give a welcome speech to all our new students, as well as those who are continuing with studies at our esteemed university. Let me give a very, very special welcome to the first year students. I know for some it is going to be a first experience in a higher learning institution, while there are a few others who may be coming here just to regain additional knowledge. Let me just simply welcome you to feel at home and to feel privileged to have had this opportunity to study with us. As you are well aware, the Open University of Tanzania is a public university which offers higher education slightly in a different way. Our education is given through what you call open and distance learning. In other words, the students and the staff are not in the same place at the same time. Most of the time, the staff will be there at their station, and the student will be there at home or at their workplace, or sometimes they are on the move. But that is where learning starts to take place. We also want to emphasize that the university has made a significant development in moving from book-based learning to online learning. Since 2011, we actually have not been printing any books anymore, and most of our learning resources are now in electronic form. Of course, that may seem to be a bit difficult for those who are not very well versed with technology, but I keep to emphasize that this country, that is Tanzania, cannot develop without ICT. The more people are made to use ICT, the more we are able to find opportunities for more knowledge and easier communication. I'll give you an example of the smartphone. The smartphone has transformed the way we live, the way we communicate. Nowadays, you don't even need to read a newspaper to get information. It finds you where you are. And this is through the use of the smartphone. Similarly, the laptop, the tablet, and even the personal computer. These are all things that students must be familiar with. Now, I know there are some who are in rural areas, in remote places, where they say, oh, we don't have electricity, we don't have a network, we don't have this or that. I would just encourage any student who is in a situation like that to find a solution instead of complaining. The simplest solution, for example, for electricity is to have a simple solar power. A solar panel or solar system that costs less than 200,000 is enough to get a student off to be able to charge their tablet or their mobile phone. And if there is mobile network around, then they should be able to get internet and access materials. I want also to emphasize that the Open University of Tanzania is actually organized through its regional centers. There are 30 regional centers. Of course, the Temeke Regional Center is suspended for a while, and there are a few other places that are having what we call coordination centers, like Itunduru and Kahama. There we have coordination centers that are normally used to bridge between the university and the students. All regional headquarters have got a center of the Open University of Tanzania. Now, at the regional center, that's where your students go to do your registration, and that is where you go to get all information related to your studies, including obviously collecting your your used scripts that have been marked and sent back to you, but also the same place where your examinations are organized. With a few regions, we have district examination centers, which you will be informed about. And these are locations where examinations will normally be available maybe once or twice a year, particularly during the main examination session in June, July. But otherwise, your regional center is mostly going to be your examination center. Now, how long does it take to study in the Open University? This is a very interesting question which every new student would want to know. We have 5 levels of study at our university. The first level is what we call certificate courses. These are usually 1-year courses. They also include the foundation course. The foundation program is also a 1-year program, but we can allow a student to continue for a maximum of 2 years for certificate and the foundation courses. But we have diploma courses. These are courses that take up between 2 years and above, and we can allow a student on a diploma course to continue being there for 4 years. After that, we think you have not been able to proceed and you cannot succeed, so we normally deregister you. For the bachelor degree, we expect students to spend 3 years, just like students in any other university. Particularly those, for example, who are not working, they have all the time to study and finish in 3 years. However, understanding that most of our learners are on part-time study, most of our learners are doing working, we allow them to proceed up to 8 years. So after 8 years, if you have not finished the bachelor degree, then we can deregister you. For the master degree, most master degrees are completed in 2 years, but we still allow up to 4 years. And the doctorate degree is done with between a period of 3 and 8 years. 3 years the minimum, and 8 years the maximum. So those are briefly some of the important issues I wish to share with you. How are you going to pay your fees? First of all, our fees are determined by the number of units or courses you are registering for. So first of all, you must do a course registration. Having done your course registration online, the system will give you an invoice showing how much of fees you're supposed to pay. And we do allow students to pay 50% up front at the beginning. This will allow you to get access to our examinations during the first half of the year. We do have the main timed tests in January and February, and you need to have paid 50% to have access to that. And then, of course, before the annual examinations, you're supposed to pay the remaining 50%. Somewhere in May, April, you have to pay the remaining 50%. And that is all you need to do. I'm sure that you'll get enough explanations from regional directors on how to make these payments and how to respond when you receive the invoice. Our examinations are available basically on a quarterly basis. We have sometimes 4 sessions of exams, but most of the time 2 sessions are main. We have the timed tests and then the main exams in February and June. But also we do have some examinations in April, in September. These are what we call ODEX, on-demand examinations. But in the future, I think if we are allowed by TCU to continuously enroll 4 intakes per year, then we shall regularize 4 examination sessions per year. Basically, I want also to refer you to your student government. The university students are organized. They have their own government. They also OUT Students Organization, which has got leaders up to the grassroots levels. In the regional center, you have a vice president, a secretary, and sometimes a cabinet, a mini cabinet, resembling what you have at the central level, at the university level, where we have a president, a vice president, a secretary general, and then you have other officers, ministers of different ministries. This is a student government, and I think every student is contributing to the student government in terms of the annual student contribution, and therefore I expect students to make best use of the government. And when you have a problem, don't suffer alone. Look for your vice president or your secretary. They will guide you on what action to take. Eventually, obviously, you have to see the director of the regional center if necessary. And I'm saying here it is not really very necessary for students to come to the headquarters, but if it is important, you are allowed to come. You are allowed to come, and we shall receive you and give you the necessary assistance. The university has got a client service charter which requires our staff to attend to students. We consider our students as our clients, and therefore you, our clients, should not hesitate to see us whenever you encounter problems in the course of your study. Finally, let me welcome you once again to the Open University of Tanzania. I expect you to work hard, to work diligently, to concentrate on your studies, and finally to acquire the required knowledge and skills that are needed for the development of our country. I welcome you again, and I thank you for listening to me. Thank you.
Open University of Tanzania, quality education for all. The Open University of Tanzania, quality education for all. The Open